your host, Sophia. And today, my guest is Kathryn Tapper, although she is actually Dr. Kathryn Tapper, and she's AKA Dr. K Tap. So that's what we're going to call her, Dr. K Tap. And then we can find out how she got that. So let me tell you a little bit about her. And yes, I'm reading, and if the phone's close to my face, well, just excuse me for that because it is what it is. So Dr. K Tap is a Mayo Clinic trained physician, kidney transplant thriver, emotional fitness coach, and wellness centered leadership speaker, redefining how we lead starting from within. Diagnosed with kidney disease as a college student, she spent 20 years navigating life as an end stage renal disease patient while pursuing her medical career. And yes, I'm shaking my head because I think that's amazing. After returning to dialysis following a failed kidney transplant, she experienced a powerful turning point, realizing that traditional medicine alone was not the path to lasting healing. She saw a critical gap. Leadership and health were being treated as separate conversations, but without nurturing our mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being, sustainable leadership wasn't possible. Today, she speaks on stages and coaches high achieving women to stop proving and start glowing by aligning mind, body, and spirit. Her signature framework empowers audiences to move from chaos to clarity, from burnout to embodied leadership. As a physician, emotional fitness coach, and wellness leadership expert featured by MSN as one of the top 15 health experts you need to know, she helps women reconnect with their true power, not by doing more, but by leading with presence, purpose, and aligned well being. She serves as medical director at Pink Divas United, a nonprofit supporting breast cancer survivors, and curates transformative experiences that merge science with soul. Originally from Jamaica, she's a plant mom, nature lover, and dance floor enthusiast who believes your well being is your leadership. Welcome.
Thanks, Sophia. Thank you so much for having me. It's so interesting, as you're reading the bio and I'm just doing a travelogue within myself and just thinking of all the experience that has really brought me to where I am now to, speaking with you. It's quite remarkable the journey that I've taken and that we really all take when we do take the time to reflect on where we've been and
Mhm.
where we are now.
So how does that feel though? Because yes, you write the bio, you said in the bio, but when you actually hear it,
Yeah.
what what are you feeling in your body and in your spirit? Once you hear it, it's like, dang, this is me.
You got it right. Exactly. Wow. She's talking about me. She's talking about me. It's a full body experience for sure. It is. It is. But very, very gracious and grateful, both the ups and the downs that have brought me to where I am. Because again, the downs, that's where you learn the lessons, right? You learn the lessons on the ups, but you really are able to focus on the lessons on the downs because you're like, okay, where am I to go next?
Right.
That surrender that you feel like I can't do anything. So, God, universe, lead the way. You,
Yes.
right? You really focused on that. So, yes, it's a beautiful life to live if we can see it through that lens.
I'd have to agree with you there because facing and okay, I'll speak for me because I don't know how you felt, but facing a diagnosis where the end result could be death. You're like, okay. I know for me, I'm like, I'm not going out like that. I'm
Yeah.
not ready to go. because I was put here to do something,
Yes.
haven't done it yet,
Yes.
and I need to move forward with it.
Yes, you're absolutely right. I remember exactly when I got the diagnosis. There were training physicians huddled up around my bed with the preceptor who is the attending, right? The lead physician who was giving me this diagnosis. And I just remember after bawling, right? I just remember that this, because I already knew I wanted to become a physician.
Mhm.
I remember that I could have a choice. I could decide whether I'm going to not go down the route that I know that I'm supposed to go,
Mhm.
or to really be focused on what I am called to do in that moment. And that has brought me to where I am now. It's just a decision that we make. We can either be empowered by the pain to figure out what that purpose is or disempowered, right? And that's not that you're not going to be feeling the pain. That's not what
Mhm.
you're saying. But underneath the surface of the pain, the problem, there's something deeper going on beneath. And that's what I chose to focus on.
And that's a powerful choice. That is a really powerful choice to make because sometimes people they get a diagnosis and then they give up
Mm-hmm.
because they say, okay, well, this person has been to school for a bunch of years and they should know, and la la la. And for me, it's like, I don't care what you see.
Correct.
I have a different I have a different outlook and
Yeah.
I'm going to do this my way
Mm-hmm.
and I'm still here and I'm very grateful for that. Now, I don't know if I'm doing well, okay. Let's just take that back. I know.
Mm-hmm.
We lie to ourselves all the time. I know that I am not doing everything that I was put here to do. I'm
Uh-huh.
doing I'm doing a good bit of it.
Right.
I'm not doing all of it.
Mm.
And well, we're not here to talk about me. Now, when I say that, because then I'm like, well, because I could go down a rabbit hole and I don't want to go
No,
down
but
that
that's
rabbit hole.
fine. I mean, that's just how we're having this conversation, right? It's fine. However it flows, and that's absolutely fine. So then why do you think that you're not giving your all, or in another way, you're doing things piecemeal? Why do you think that?
I think it's there was some fear there, and then there were some stories that I needed to. There were stories that I wasn't ready to remember.
Mm,
There were stories that I created that they were so embedded that it was just like a part of my identity. And it wasn't until I started doing more identity work with my clients that it's like, okay, take it a step back. You need to start looking at stuff. And then interesting the way sometimes things unfold because then I was having a conversation with my mom and all of a sudden there's like all this stuff came up. And I was
mm-hmm.
like, wow, I made up a story about this and a story about this and a story about this. And I was like, okay, now I get to rewrite my story because I have the power to do so. And so future self and I have been talking and I was like, all right, well, I want to step into the identity of X, Y, and Z.
Mm-hmm.
And we all have the power to step into our new identity or otherwise said our future self.
Yeah.
The
I-
lady,
yeah.
I come to her and it's like, okay, well, you're already living the life that I want because I see you doing things. And it wouldn't be a desire of mine if you hadn't already done it. So
Mhm.
let's have a conversation and let me know what I need to do to get to you.
Yeah.
To like step into that identity.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so yeah, I've been rewriting a lot of stories.
Yeah.
And as they unfold and I rewrite, then I step further into the identity of the person who is living full out
Yeah.
and not lying to myself. And it's like, yeah, you're doing the thing. It's like, no, you're not doing the thing. You know, you're not doing the thing. Now, if you were talking to your client, she said that, what would you tell her? So it's really about being authentic with yourself first.
100%. This is such a beautiful conversation because you hit so many nails on the head with, having that honesty with yourself. So if you want to experience something different in your life that you envision, then you have to be crystal clear of what that vision is. And then back to that identity, right? Who are you going to be in order to experience the vision that you have, right? So what happens is, because the vision might seem far away from us, but if we can bring that vision into the now of who you are becoming, who you really are,
Hmm. Our truth.
exactly our truth, the beliefs that you're rewriting about yourself, right? That are now much more elevated than before. And this is important because so many of us may be thinking about it and dealing with this on our own. So having this conversation about it is really impactful.
Yes, because I think that's something that people, well, I'm going to keep it on me, but I'm also talking to y'all. So I'm sure there are a lot of people who can relate. But you're high functioning, you're high achieving, and you're like, I can do this on my own because I did this and I did this and I did this and I did all the things by myself. So I can fix this with myself too. And not to say you can't, but it always helps when you have a coach
Mhm.
or somebody else in your corner and you might have a friend who can see your blind spots, who's not going to commiserate with you and who can elevate you. But a coach holds you accountable in a different way.
Mhm. Yes.
And they see your blind spots. And while you're busy holding everybody else, they're busy holding you.
Yeah, yeah. Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Yes.
Because when you do whatever you say that you should be doing or you can do, at what expense?
Yeah.
Is the expense? What is it costing us? Is it costing us our emotional capacity, our peace? Is it costing us our presence? What is it? Is it costing us our health?
Hmm.
Because we live in a microwave society or an Amazon society, we want things right away.
Yep.
We do. We do. And so we don't think about what the long-term effects of our actions, our beliefs, the decisions that we make are going to have on us long term or on other people. But this is why, again, the vision is important, to be very crystal clear about what you really desire and making sure that what you desire aligns with the decisions that you make now.
Yep. And interestingly enough, I spoke about desire on a 5-day workshop challenge thing that I did. And then I spoke about it yesterday on a podcast interview I did. And desire can actually feel threatening and dangerous because as women, we have been programmed for so long to not really have our own desires. Or if you have them, you can have them, but they can't be really big. To
Limited.
take, because you get praised for taking care of others. You get praised for um, taking a back seat, so to speak. Or you're still in that mode. You're 40, you're 50, you're 60, but you're still in that mode of being seen and not heard because that's how you grew up. And society still praises for that,
Mm-hmm.
and it's even, you have the desire if you're in corporate to move up, but all the things that you're doing to move up, sometimes men and women are name calling you. When if a man was doing the same thing and have the same level of ambition, no, nobody says anything about him. If he's being assertive, not aggressive, that's cool. But if she's being assertive, not aggressive, chances are she's being called aggressive anyway.
Mm-hmm. This is where knowing yourself and being true to yourself is so important, and not looking for external validation, right? Validation outside of yourself. And really, really understanding what you want, not what society has conditioned you to believe. And that's why it becomes dangerous, right? Or the fear comes up because this is something completely new from what you've been conditioned to believe for so
Yeah.
long. Now you're stepping outside of the box and you're like, okay, what is out here? Oh, there's a whole new world. Okay, I'm scared. Back in the box, right?
Oh my gosh, you said a whole new world, and I swear to God, Disney song just jumped into my head.
Yes, 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 yes.
Disney's done a number two on women.
Listen, I can find a song for everything that I see.
Yeah,
You can ask any of
yeah.
my best friends, I will just break out in song in mid conversation.
Oh my gosh. That
Yeah.
happens to me all the time, but a lot of times songs have messages
Yeah.
because we sometimes we don't understand how our messages are going to hit us, where they're coming from. So you might ask a question and a song comes up with the answer.
Yeah.
Or you could be watching something
Mhm.
and there's one line in that entire show that was just like mind blowing, not to anybody else but you, because it was directly related to an answer that you needed to get.
100%. And it happens all the time. It's just that we're not looking for it. We're not aware that the answers to the questions or to the problems that we have, they're right in front of us, waiting for us to receive them, because we can get distracted by the worry, right?
Yeah.
The overwhelm with, I have to do this, I have to get this. And that distraction, you can't focus on anything else. You're not able to receive because there's no clarity there.
Right, exactly. It just brings to mind that story of the person in the flood, and they they're in this flood and a boat comes by and they're like, "No, I'm waiting for God." And
Mhm.
then the flood, it gets higher, the water gets higher, and then they climb up on the roof and a helicopter comes by and they're like, "No, I'm waiting for God."
Mhm.
And then they drown.
Mhm.
And when they meet God, he was like, okay, so this is Sophia paraphrasing God. Dude, I sent you a boat. I sent you a helicopter and you didn't take it
Yeah,
because it didn't come in the package that person was expecting.
correct.
And a lot of times we ask for things, we ask the universe, we ask God, and we get what we asked for. It just didn't necessarily come the way we expected it or
Correct.
necessarily the way we wanted it. But
Yeah.
then you had to stop and say, but this is what you asked for.
Yeah.
You were not specific.
Yes, yes. And it happens a lot. It happens to us so many times because, again, as human beings, we want to control everything,
Yeah.
right? The a sense of control makes us feel safe.
Yes. And especially, I think, as high achieving women, because I have to say, I am a recovering control freak. I
Mhm.
like to make sure, I
Mhm.
like, and it still comes up because it's a journey. It's not there. I don't think you ever get to the destination where if you were always wanting to be in control, that you can just surrender it, let it go, and it's always gone and never
Possible.
rears its head up.
Anything is possible. Anything is possible. Um, But again, we hinder ourselves when we try to take the reins, whether it is of a project that we have, relationship, finances, so many different things that we want it to happen in a certain way. And if it doesn't line up the way that we want to, that's when you get disappointed because we have expectations of how we want things to be.
Yes. Yes.
So the expectations lead to disappointment. Sometimes it might lead to regret. And then what?
Then then you have to, then you well, you know what? Then you get a chance to reevaluate
You do.
because it's like, okay, well, maybe I missed this opportunity, but it doesn't mean another one's not coming.
Correct. Yes. Right. So there's a lesson in everything. There's a message in the mess.
I had my mom, cracking up the other day because we were talking and there are some things that need to be better aligned. And so she says to me, she says, everything's going to work out just fine. And I told her, I said, yeah, because when you're in the middle of shit, you don't necessarily see that there's a way out. I said,
100%.
however, I am sitting shit adjacent. So I know that everything's going to work out.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
she just laughed so hard.
Yeah. But it goes back to what you were saying before. Like when you're in the muck, you can't see everything. That's why people that are not in it, they have that objective view to say everything is going to be fine.
Yes, exactly.
Or lead you in the direct. That's why the coach is there. So when you're overwhelmed, when you're anxious, when you're stressed out, right? You're not thinking clearly because you're in your emotions, right? So the mentor, the coach, the therapist, whomever is able to look at the picture in a more holistic way
Yes.
and bring to light what you're not thinking about because you're thinking about the problem or not even able to think about the problem. You're just in your emotions, and that is okay. But when it really becomes a problem is when you stay there,
Hmm.
try to deal with things alone. Because as high achieving women, we like to be independent and do things by ourselves. That's the control again. So full circle. But if
Well,
yeah.
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
So if we become honest with ourselves to say, I want to feel more peaceful, I want to feel more calm, I want to have more order, I want to feel more free, I want to feel more fulfilled in who I am and what I am doing, what I'm doing isn't working for me. So something needs to change.
Mhm.
That's there. Is that something needs to change?
Well, and I also think that when your nervous system is dysregulated, and I know we're hearing a lot about nervous system these days, but it's important to really know about what's happening in your body. But when your nervous system is dysregulated, you can't make good decisions.
No.
Because if you're in fight or flight and every other minute you want to just run or you're freezing or it's like what to do, you can't make good decisions from that point, and you keep saying I want to protect my peace,
Right.
but you have no peace if your nervous system is dysregulated.
Right.
So with tools you can start to regulate your nervous system and then make better decisions, and
Yeah.
then you see the light.
Exactly. Yeah. You do not want to make decisions when you're in your emotions, whether it is really excited or really anxious on whatever spectrum, because again, you're not thinking clearly.
And I think one of the things that I think, especially as women, and I've spoken to a lot of single women, and 'cause that's who I generally work with, and always they always think that it's like, let's think that
Yes.
everything is we're gonna think that
Overthink.
and
Mm.
be very disconnected from our bodies. And I can
Hmm.
say that with no judgment because I remember going to several people who kept telling me that your head and your heart need to be connected. Because I went to a lot of spiritual people, so that's what they would tell me. And I'm like, that makes no sense to
Mm,
me. Don't get it. And it took me, no lie, it took me years to actually get what they were talking about. Because then it was like, well, get into your body. So I'm in my body. I'm
mhm,
alive, I'm breathing, I'm in it.
yeah.
But
Mhm,
not understanding that emotions actually live in there.
mhm,
And when somebody says, well, where do you feel it in your body? And my immediate reaction was nowhere.
mhm,
So it really is taking a step back. Because I know for me, I spend a lot of time in my head, and it can be a fun and dangerous place at the same time.
mhm,
So, really being able to get in touch with your breath and stuff like that, and just really be able to ground yourself
mhm,
is one of the best ways to start regulating your nervous system and then not owning all of your emotions.
mhm.
So, I hear people say all the time, I'm anxious. Okay, well, now you just owned it because you named it and claimed it,
Right.
as opposed to saying, I feel anxious right now.
Mhm,
And I was with a friend of mine and her niece was with us and she's like, "Well, my ADHD says," and so she's already owned it. She
mm,
has claimed it.
yeah,
I have ADHD and now that's me. It's my identity, is who I am,
right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
as opposed to not okay, with ADHD is different than anxiousness, but without necessarily owning it like it is a part of you and it's your entire identity.
Yeah, yeah.
Because like I was diagnosed with ADHD and I have symptoms of ADHD, but that you're not owning it so that it is your entire identity.
Right. And I think that is very important that you mentioned that because we operate from the identity and the beliefs that we have about ourselves. So again, when people ask me, or when I'm talking about chronic kidney disease, I say I'm experiencing chronic kidney disease, or I'm being challenged by chronic kidney disease, but I'm not a chronic kidney disease patient.
Yeah.
Because for me, the first two separates who I truly am from the disease
Yes.
versus saying that I'm a patient. Is that really my identity in this entire universe? That I am somebody that has a disease? That doesn't make any sense. It makes absolutely no sense. That is a lot of limitation that we've now put upon ourselves
Right.
to say, oh, now I have to operate from this space of being sick.
Right. Exactly. So you're operating from a space of not life.
Right.
I can live my life to the fullest,
Mhm.
but now in the box of a person with this disease and here are the parameters that they need to live by.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. And that was one of the things I realized from early when I was diagnosed in sophomore year of college. And because of that inner drive to not want to be identified that way, I did I had dialysis treatments throughout college. Like I didn't stop and take any incompletes in my class. I went straight through. No, I wouldn't advise anybody to do that. On retrospect, right? Because that was more of me pushing through, but there was this drive that it's indescribable that I was feeling at the time that allowed me to go through college that way. And then I took a couple years off before going into medical school after that. So it's all about how do you think about yourself? Like, what do you really think about yourself?
Yeah.
And is that something that you want to continue to be and to live by? Because we have the power to choose differently.
Yes. And that part. I just want to reiterate, you have the power to choose differently.
Mhm.
And that is so important because I hear so many people say, I had no choice,
Right.
but you did.
Mhm. You're just not
And
supposed
sometimes making no choice is a choice,
to. Yes.
you know? So when you say I had no choice, you actually had a choice and you made it.
Mhm.
And maybe now you just don't want to own it. Or maybe you want to skip out on something else.
Right.
Saying I had no choice. I had to go to this thing because this person always shows up for me.
Right.
But did you want to go? No. If you didn't want to go, then you made the choice to go,
Right.
whether out of obligation or to stay in victim mode because that's where you live. You
People
made a
think.
choice.
Mhm. And a lot of people don't realize that because of the conditioning. They think this is the only way. This is the only way to do something is to work hard and to stress out. So that's why they don't even realize that it was a choice for them until it was brought up. Now they're able to see things differently. Yeah, I did choose. Didn't realize that I was choosing. You chose by default.
Yeah.
Did make a choice. You chose how you got up this morning. Did you roll to your right, to your left? That was a short choice. The simplest of things. It's a choice.
And
Yeah.
I know I have made choices in my life that I ask myself a lot of times, it's like, why did you make that particular choice?
Mhm.
And then when I really sit with it, and it's like, oh, because, well, this and this and this,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So I think that's also important. Again, rolling back in our conversation to self-reflection and being honest with yourself.
Why did I make that choice? Like taking the time to do that will give you a lot of insight.
And it gives you it brings your power back to you
It does.
as opposed to giving it away. Because
Mhm.
I, even high achieving women, and maybe especially high achieving women, give their power away on the right and don't even realize it.
Yeah. All the time.
And the thing is, maybe not in business, but in
Mhm.
other areas of your life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I remember a long time ago, um, one of my male friends, he was like, "You just don't understand all the power that you carry." And he's like, well, okay. Going on for him to say, you should never have to pay a bill in your life.
Mhm.
But from his perspective, that was truth.
Right.
My perspective, that's not how I grew up.
Right. Right. So he was shining the lights on something that wasn't common for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's where these
So,
angels come into our lives to plant that seed, at least.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's then the seed gets planted and it's up to us to water it and then see how it blooms.
Exactly.
But yeah, I thought, that was interesting. But
Mhm.
I didn't make much of it until, again, I had to sit and think about, well, what does he really mean by that? But again, growing up certain ways in certain cultures, there are things that just don't occur to you.
Yeah. You don't know what you don't know.
Exactly. It's like that wasn't even in my purview.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Until we again step outside of the box and realize there's a whole new world.
Yes.
Mm.
There it goes again.
Tune.
Y'all just stop doing that because I'm going to leave the house and that song is going to be playing in my head all day.
But it's so true. Like if we can be honest with ourselves to really say, okay, I don't know everything, but you want to explore a different way of living that you do desire and just be open to that experience and welcoming in that, you'll be surprised. But if we're so hyper focused on what we think we know, then we're not open to what is out there for us to receive.
Right, right.
So
I
then,
remember, sorry,
mhm,
to cut you off, but it just brought up this thing that one of the coaches that I've had said, "Come into the training open-minded. Don't
mhm,
keep saying I know that."
mhm,
Because once you say I know that, now you're not in a growth mindset, you're in a closed mindset, you're in a fixed mindset because you already know. So you're
right,
telling yourself, I have nothing left to learn.
right, yep, exactly. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Mhm.
So now if women would like to work with you, how can they do that?
Yeah, very simple. I am on LinkedIn. You can find me at Dr. Kathryn Tapper, Kathryn. Instagram, DrKTap, Dr. KTap. And then Dr. KTap is just short for my full name, Dr. Kathryn Tapper. I just kind of came to me and it stayed.
Well, I
Easy,
like it and
easy
it's
to
easy
say.
to remember.
Easy. That's really where it came from. It's just very easy to remember. Yeah, yeah. So you can find me there, or you can just email me at info@drktap.com. I'm actually creating a free guide. It's very, very simple, and it's called the 5 minute stress reset. So for women that are just feeling in amok, feeling the chaos of what's going on in their lives, and they need a quick reset, at least this guide will help them to see something that they may not have seen and
Mm.
practice something that they may not have practiced before. And if it's something where they want to, continue on that journey to go deeper than that, then they can always find me.
So now is the guide created or are you still working on it?
I'm still working on it, and I'll give you the link when I have it all set. It should be finished this week or next week. Mm.
Okay. And will that be on your website? If
This one,
Because
I'm not sure
depending on
yet.
when they hear it.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
right. So I'll give you the link directly to that page where they can sign up for the free gift. Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, if
That
that works.
sounds good. Well, I always love talking to you because we end up in these beautiful conversations
Mm.
and we never know where they're gonna go.
That's the beauty of it. And then whoever's supposed to hear it will hear it based on the organic conversation that we've had, and then we're all connected
Yeah.
in this. So,
Well, and I love that you said that. We are all connected, even though it doesn't seem like it, especially on today's environment. It doesn't always feel like we're all connected
mhm,
because there's so many ways that we're being separated.
right.
But at the heart of it,
Mhm.
underlying, we are all connected.
We
So
are,
that is something that I would love people to just really think about for a moment.
yeah,
That you may not be your neighbor's keeper, but you're definitely connected to your neighbor.
yeah. I want to give an example of that. So I
Okay.
want you to think about yourself as a grain of sand. Okay, you're a grain of sand on a beach. But you're only focused on yourself, that grain of sand. You're focused on the challenges that are happening in your life, whether it is physically, mentally, within your purpose driven work, your finances, your relationships. You're just focused on you, the little grain of sand. But you forget that there are sand grains all around you
Mhm.
that now create this whole beautiful beach that you're on. So think about that. Do you want to focus on that grain of sand yourself? Or can you picture yourself completing this beautiful beach of white sand together with every other grain of sand there.
Yes. And
You're
without disliking sand grain beside you, without judging the other sand grain across the way, just knowing that you're all sand grains making up this beautiful beach.
exactly. You're being in your purpose of creating the whole of what we call the beach.
I love that. I love that. Okay, I hate to end the conversation, but I'm going to end on that because I think it's great food for thought. So thank you so much for being here today.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed you, and we have to do this again.
we do. We do. Thank you so much.